Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the part two of my year in review for 2022, all the weird and crazy stuff I built over the last year or so. This is Show Builder again. So in the first part, last episode, kind of looked at three somewhat conventional builds in terms of just being like fairly balanced front-siders with lots of different functions. Today we're going to look at three somewhat more crazy builds that are slightly more gimmicky. And when we get to talking about them in detail, you'll kind of know. The first one is a light frigate, the Silent Lullaby, at the cost of 150 materials. It only has 47 firepower, which is pretty strange. What it does is more of an experimental unit. Here, the Heaven's Lament is quite opposite at 1.2 million materials as 1000 firepower uh, in crams, and it only has two cram weapons. So this is a Doom cram craft. Now here this is something, um, as you can see, it's actually not quite finished yet, um, and I will show you what it does, but I don't want to talk about it too much until it's done. All right, let's see how four of these snipers do against one of those Strauss on cruisers. So now they're getting into optimal range, and then what they should be doing is submerging. Well, they want to get into optimal range first and then submerge. Let's see the range, 1500. So yeah, these ones have submerged. And what they're doing is they're engaging the enemy from all directions using these heavy rail guns. Well, what's the size? 330 millimeter, but yeah, 6 meter long shells. And they're 180-degree frag. So even though the firepower is low, as you can see, it's already immediately losing a lot of internal components. I see kind of steam parts. Uh, you'll see some AI bits coming out. So the actual frigates themselves are taking minimal damage, and now the engine has been disabled. Oh my god. There's a turret that's coming out. There's engine parts coming out everywhere. Yeah, they're just very low profile and super hard to detect, so they're Wolfpack snipers. And most of the cost is in the flight model of being able to just having ion thrusters, which is, and all of their electronic countermeasures as well. There you go, this ship has been gutted and disabled, almost. I feel like some of their targeting drones have been disabled. They're not having the best accuracy right now, but yeah, there's significant damage under this ship. Alright, let's see how four of these do against a single kobold. Now we're submerging. Mm. Oh, well, something got taken out because this kobold is only down to 100 firepower. Oof. Yeah, so it's completely focusing on this one chef, which is completely getting chewed up, but um, the other ones are just able to get lots of free rounds into the side. And this is a worst case scenario because the Cobalt orbits a pretty decent distance too, so um, it's quite hard for those other ships on the side to land on target. Whereas if something just stays still, it's quite easy to much easier to surround them. But basically, this is a wolf pack sniper kind of ship. These silent lullabies. They're fairly weakly armored individually, so that is slightly of a concern. I mean, they each could carry a nuclear warhead um, instead of their little observation drones as well. That could definitely help with their performance. Because they're quite far away and have a low rate of fire gun, it does take a while to land a lucky hit and see some results, but the results do come. Yeah, the stability update definitely hurt these ships quite a bit, just because they use large shells. Um, yeah, it's definitely better, more consistent to use small gauge shells that have a good rate of fire. Oh, there's a good hit. See, yeah, it's been probably 3 minutes and we finally had a money shot. There you go, another one. So yeah, that's jet components and ring shields. Okay, so this is the Heaven's Lament. It's a warp drive cram bomber, and yeah, this was a major headache I had for most of 2022. I started building this in the summer. I kind of knew it wasn't gonna work out, so I kind of gave up on the project. Picked it up a bit um, in October or so, and just realized it didn't wasn't gonna work out, so I had to restart the whole project. Basically, these auxiliary craft here, they generate energy. If you look inside, um, they're pretty much all just energy generation for the main craft and a little bit of laser defense. And the main craft is pretty much just all armor and come on, all armor and cram cannons. So basically, if you have these energy generation on the main craft, and then also put armor around it that is sufficient for combat, it would weigh so much that it would not be able to function properly. So the only way to make it work is to have um, the energy generation for warp on the side auxiliary ships, which kind of detach in combat and beam the power over to the main craft, which are able to get close to the enemy and do its job. Additionally, in the first iteration of the design, I put guns in the front to give it the maximum amount of arc of fire. However, they just get shot off immediately. So I put them on the bottom, and then they do a special trick to counter enemies that kind of go above them. So I'll give you a quick demonstration against a simple target on what it does. So this is a slow enemy. It blinks forward. This is kind of cheating because, well, So that wasn't the best. We didn't disable all of the tier's weapons. Um, but basically, it's able to teleport forward in rapid succession because we have uh, warp drives on spin blocks in different directions. That's how it's able to do that. Okay, so we still have good firepower. In this recharge phase, the recharge cycle is indicated by these lights on the side, but I think I could give it a bit more evasion at this stage. Um, yeah, like right now it's just 40 seconds of recharge, and honestly, stability doesn't really matter. So it could, yeah, definitely benefit a lot more from more evasion. Now we just rip. Wow, we've been really unlucky with those two shots, but we kind of ripped a huge hole through these ships. In 1996, the tier has seemed to have lost their main AI, um, which is pretty crazy. I don't know why. The main guns are still firing though. Yeah, there's some misoptimization with the pitch PIDs over there, I think. And let's look at the light indicator for another attack cycle. Ooh. So when the light reaches the Sphinx, means it's ready to attack. Ooh, alright, let's reduce us some turrets. No? Well, I think it's lost most of its power generation anyway, so should be okay. Tier has been super lucky in this round. Oh no, you destroy one of the Sphinxes. That's terrible. Um, so the aesthetic for this ship is kind of based on the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Did we lose one of our guns? Yes. Well, lucky tier. Well, okay, it's down to 100 firepower. So yeah, that's definitely kind of a vulnerability to have only two weapons. And we're 94 to 80. But we do need the Doom Cram to charge up as much as it does. So yeah, well that's some lucky shots for the tier. Oh, and when the enemy is below 80, the warp computer knows we don't really need to retreat anymore, just to save a bit more energy. We'll just stay close to the target, and then whenever we're ready to fire, we'll fire. Because it only fires once every um, 40 seconds. Ooh, that's a nice one. Because it only fires once every 40 seconds, I kind of curious want to know um, where it's aiming at. So I gave it some dazzling lasers, and all they do is just provide a target indication on where the computer is, where the AI wants to be aiming at. All right, that's one tier destroyed. One very lucky tier. All right, we'll repair everything and then show you what it does against space targets. All right, here's a Scarlet Dawn's contingency spawning at 2 kilometers away, and we'll just yeah, hey, if the weapons are on the bottom, just flip it upside down. No biggie. That one wasn't quite ideal, but let's see how much firepower did it lose. No, it still got it. So we got survive just a bit longer to do another barrage. We'll try to retreat as fast as we can, so we're not under that laser, and hopefully get some accurate shots in there. Oh well, I think the first barrage destroyed the Scarlet Dawn's left thrusters, so it's just falling down into the water. Sorry, when I say Scarlet Dawn, I mean contingency. You can see we flipped the right side up now. Yes. All right. Lots of laser parts falling off. Yeah, because spacecraft is not able to accelerate very quickly in space. There's too much inertia to mass when they're heavily armored like this. So I did allow the specifically in the case of space targets, I did allow the weapon controller to fire at a greater range compared to um, you know below target like this. And how it's able to fly upside down, which is why I call overturned flight. It's got the same flight pods from the support cruiser from the last episode, and then it's got all these circly things are actually the sky's propellers, and the propellers, everyone knows they work just as well forward as backward. So they do reverse their thrust in upside down mode, and everything is hooked up to a single breadboard. The the craft will not be able to fly without that particular breadboard. So that is just as well protected as the AI. One other trick I have with the crabs is that they have different fuses. So because ideally we would hit craft on the side with these 180 crams. So they would go everywhere, hit the weaker top and bottom armor, and got the target from the inside. But if a target is underwater, time fuse would not work because water slows down the shells. So what we want to do is change it to altitude fuse, and all that is controlled by a breadboard against submarines. So despite this being a very specialized siege craft type of vehicle, um, it also works very well against spacecraft and submarines. One thing it doesn't do is swarm craft, I think. Although those auxiliary ships have quite good laser defense to support the main craft, um, so they can function a little bit better against swarms. There you go. There's a Heaven's Lament. there's not too much interior. It's a very much a functional ship, despite how it looks. Okay, this is the last one I want to showcase for today. Um, it's a battleship. It has a cost of 1 million and 800 APS firepower. Um, let's see what it does. Yeah, so it uses an experimental APS system, which I've never seen anyone else make. And what it does is basically it attempts to cut ships in half using barrages of APS shotgun. Since this is so satisfying, I'll show you a bit more from this side. It's almost like shooting a solid beam of bullets, eh? The ship does use um, a target lead the target breadboard that I've developed myself. Is not as good as other people's lead the target breadboard actually, but I don't want to use other people's code in my builds, even though it doesn't really show. So I do want to develop all the technology myself. Um, I can look at other people's stuff, and if I understand it, then I'll use it. But if I don't understand it, then I would like to not have anything that's um, kind of just copy pasted, basically. Accuracy is a huge issue on this ship. To be able to achieve this kind of firing pattern, obviously. So range control is important. It can't be too far, and stability is important too. So it has Swiss limiters on all axes. Everything's custom to make sure the stability is as high as possible. You can see we're just vaporizing entire chunks off of a enemy ship. Onslaught is a good design, but yeah, we're we're taking a lot of missile damage too, because we're a very offensive focused design without all the missile defense gimmicks I built into my other ships. It has 10 guns which are spaced out a lot, which allows you know um, allows the ship to take a lot of damage in one region and still remain flight worthy, which um, kind of shares the same features as my Moonlight Reverie designs, where it's specifically designed to withstand particle piercing beam shots by having the flight systems distributed in a particular way, which is generally the weakness of airships, but in this case it's not. No, not for not unless we're unlucky anyway. Okay, so if you think all the guns are focused in the front, how do we deal with swarmcraft? Well, there's we do have a solution to that too. So we can actually change the firing pattern based on the size of the target, which feeds into the target computer. And if we have a target that breaches our defensive parameters, then we will move backwards and we'll shoot in a different pattern than the offensive attack pattern. Well, that was unlucky. I've never seen a craft get past the forward firing arc before. Yep, completely gutted. Yeah, so earlier it fell out of the sky because all of its breadboards are still in the back here. And then I guess it got taken out by flak. But when all the smart jets get destroyed, it knows it's not in anti-aircraft mode anymore, and then it gets back to its normal firing pattern of shooting barrages instead of continuously. And it has these beautiful targeting lasers that A tell you where the ship is shooting, and two causes the enemy to deploy smoke. All right, that's it for this episode, guys. It's been a pretty wild and very tiring year in 2022, making all these super technically challenging and complex builds. But that's most of the complicated stuff I worked on last year. So next episode, I'll show you some more aesthetic stuff. Uh, yeah, and if you don't want to miss the next episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.